On November 23, 2025, at exactly 6:47 p.m., my daughter looked me in the eye and said, "Either you pay $3,250 a month starting December 1st, or you pack your bags and leave." I'm Grace Williams. I'm 68 years old. I said, "Okay." Then I made a phone call that would change everything. But before I tell you what happened next, let me tell you who I really am. My name is Grace Marie Williams. I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on April 15, 1957. I worked as a registered nurse at Slidell Medical Center for 40 years. 40 years of night shifts, double shifts, emergency rooms, and holding the hands of strangers as they took their last breaths. I retired in December 2020, 5 months before my 64th birthday. My husband, Robert James Williams, died on March 3, 2017. We were married for 46 years. I have 2 children, Derek, who's 52, and Tanya, who's 44. I have 3 grandchildren. I live in Slidell, Louisiana, in a 3-story house at 1247 Oakwood Drive. At least that's what everyone thinks. If you're listening from somewhere far away, drop your city in the comments so I can see how far this has traveled. And please, stay with me until the end. Because what happened in that house, what my own daughter did to me, it needs to be heard. Not for revenge, not for pity, but because somewhere out there, there's another mother, another grandmother, going through the same thing I went through. And maybe, just maybe, my story will give her the strength to do what I did. Now let me take you back to where it all began. Every morning, I wake up at 5:30 a.m. Old habits die hard when you've spent 4 decades starting hospital shifts at 6. My body doesn't know the difference between retirement and work anymore. The alarm goes off, a quiet beep from the old Timex watch Robert gave me in 1985, and I'm awake before the second beep sounds. My room is on the first floor of the house. It used to be called the guest bedroom back when this house had guests. Now it's just Grace's room, 10 feet by 12 feet. One window that faces the driveway, a single bed with a thin mattress that sags in the middle, a nightstand with my Bible, my blood pressure medication, and a photograph of Robert taken at Mardi Gras in 2015, 2 years before he died. He's wearing purple beads and laughing at something I'd said. I don't remember what it was. I wish I did. The walls are beige. Not cream, not ivory. Beige. The color of nothing. I sit up slowly, feeling the familiar ache in my knees. Arthritis. The doctor says it's moderate, manageable with medication and exercise. I take my pills, 2 for blood pressure, 1 for cholesterol, 1 for the arthritis, with a glass of water I keep on the nightstand. The water is room temperature, the refrigerator is in the kitchen, and I'm not allowed to go to the kitchen before 6:30 a.m. House rules. I dress carefully. A long-sleeved cotton blouse, navy blue because Tanya says bright colors draw attention and aren't appropriate for a woman my age. Gray slacks, comfortable shoes with rubber soles. I learned in nursing school that good shoes can save your back. That lesson stuck. I look at myself in the small mirror above the dresser. A black woman, 68 years old, with short gray hair that I keep natural now. Robert used to love when I straightened it, said it made me look sophisticated. After he died, I stopped. It felt like too much work for too little reason. My face is lined. Deep creases around my eyes, parentheses around my mouth. My mother had the same face at my age. My grandmother, too. Williams women age with strength, Grandma used to say. Every line is a battle won. At 6:15 a.m., I hear the refrigerator door slam in the kitchen. Tanya is up, packing breakfast for Brian. Toast, probably. Maybe fruit. Definitely coffee. The expensive kind from the French press, not the drip coffee she makes for me. I hear the familiar rhythm of her morning. Cabinet open, cabinet close, microwave beep, footsteps across the tile floor. Then, at exactly 6:38 a.m., always 6:38, never earlier, never later, the knock comes. 3 sharp raps on my bedroom door. "Grace?" Tanya's voice. Not warm, not cold. Efficient. "You alive in there?" This is our morning ritual. Every single day. She doesn't ask out of concern. She asks because she needs to know if she should call 911 or if she can go about her day. I know this because I heard her tell Brian once, "I just need to make sure she didn't die in her sleep. The last thing we need is to find a body after 3 days." "I'm alive," I call back. My voice sounds stronger than I feel. Breakfast in 20 minutes. Don't be late. No good morning. No how did you sleep. Just instructions. I finish dressing and make my bed. Hospital corners, tight enough to bounce a quarter. Another old habit. Then I wait. 15 minutes until I'm allowed in the kitchen. I spend the time sitting in the wooden chair by the window, watching the neighbor across the street. Mrs. Chen, a Chinese woman about my age, water her roses. She waves when she sees me. I wave back. We've never spoken, but we understand each other. Two old women in big houses, watching life go by. At 6:55, I leave my room and make my way to the kitchen. The house is beautiful. I need to say that clearly. 3 stories, 3,200 square feet. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. Original hardwood floors in the living room. Granite countertops in the kitchen. A chandelier in the dining room that cost $4,300. A backyard with a garden and a small pond where ducks sometimes rest. The house is worth, well, I'll get to that. Tanya is at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone. Brian is there too, dressed in a charcoal suit, reading something on his iPad. They both look up when I enter, the way you might glance at a stray cat that wandered in. Good morning, I say. Tanya nods. Brian grunts. On the counter there's a bowl waiting for me. Oatmeal. Plain oatmeal, made with water, not milk. No sugar. Half a banana, sliced. A glass of water. This is my breakfast. Every morning. The same. For your health, Tanya says, even though we both know it's about money. Milk costs more than water. Sugar is expensive. Fresh fruit is cheaper when you buy 1 banana and split it over 2 days. I sit at the table in my designated seat, the one farthest from the window, closest to the wall. I eat slowly, methodically. The oatmeal tastes like paste. The banana is slightly brown. I don't complain. Don't forget, Tanya says, not looking up from her phone. Rent is due Monday. Monday, November 25th, 2025. I remember, I say. Every month on the first Monday of the month, I transfer $2,200 from my checking account to Tanya's account. The memo line always says the same thing. Rent, 1247 Oakwood Drive. Rent, for the room I sleep in. The bathroom I share with no one because no one else uses the first floor. The kitchen I'm allowed to enter at designated times. $2,200 a month. Tanya thinks this money goes to the landlord. She thinks she's collecting it on behalf of the property owner and forwarding it along. She's very organized about it. Keeps a spreadsheet, sends me a receipt every month, deducts it as a business expense on her taxes. What Tanya doesn't know, what no one knows except my lawyer, my financial advisor, and my late husband Robert, is that I am the landlord. I bought this house on April 18th, 2006 for $650,000. Cash, no mortgage. The deed is in my name, Grace Marie Williams. Has been for 19 years, 7 months, and 5 days. I am paying rent to live in my own house. And every month when Tanya deposits that $2,200 into her account, she's depositing my money into her account, which I access through online banking, which shows me exactly how she spends it. Shopping, restaurants, Brian's golf membership, Jasmine's college tuition, which is the only thing I don't mind. But here's what Tanya doesn't know. What makes this whole charade almost funny if it weren't so sad? The $2,200 rent isn't even the worst of it. Let me take you back to October 27th, 2005. 20 years ago. I was 48 years old. Robert was 51. We'd been married for 34 years. We lived in a small house on the east side of Slidell, a 3-bedroom ranch with a carport, 1,400 square feet, worth maybe $140,000 if we were lucky. The mortgage was almost paid off. We had $38,000 in savings. Robert taught high school history. I worked nights at the hospital. We were comfortable. Not rich, not poor. Comfortable. Tanya was 24, living at home while she finished her accounting degree at Southeastern Louisiana University. She'd already been through 2 different majors and 3 different boyfriends, each one requiring financial support from us. Derek was 32, married to Patricia, trying to start a logistics company that was hemorrhaging money faster than he could borrow it from us. Every family dinner ended the same way. Mom, Dad, can you help me out? Just this once, I'll pay you back. They never paid us back. Robert and I had a routine. Every Wednesday night after I got home from my shift and he'd finished grading papers, we'd sit at the kitchen table and buy 2 Louisiana lottery tickets. Powerball, always the same numbers, 7, 15, 23, 31, 42, and Powerball 9. Those were our anniversary date, our kids' birthdays, and our first address. We'd been playing those same numbers for 12 years. On October 27, 2005, those numbers hit. I was at work when Robert called me. It was 11:47 p.m. I remember because I was charting medications for a post-op patient and I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. "Gracie," he said. His voice was shaking. "Gracie, sit down." "I'm at work, baby. I can't sit. What's wrong?" "The numbers. Our numbers. Gracie, we won." I didn't understand at first. "Won what?" "The lottery, the Powerball, all 6 numbers. Gracie, we won $2.1 million. I did sit down then, right there in the hallway, my back against the wall, my hand over my mouth. "Say that again," I whispered. $2.1 million, Gracie. We won. We didn't sleep that night. Robert came to pick me up at the end of my shift at 7 a.m. We drove to the Louisiana Lottery headquarters in Baton Rouge. We brought the ticket in a plastic bag, sealed, like it was evidence at a crime scene. We met with a lawyer first, Richard Beaumont, a man Robert knew from church. Richard advised us on the payout options. Lump sum, $1.3 million after federal and state taxes. Annuity, $2.1 million paid out over 20 years. We took the lump sum, $1,347,000 deposited into a new account on November 3, 2005. That night, sitting in our small kitchen, Robert and I had the conversation that would define the next 20 years. "We need to tell the kids," I said. Robert shook his head. "No." "Robert, Gracie, think about it. Really think. What happens when we tell them?" I knew what he meant, but I didn't want to admit it. "They'll be happy for us." "They'll be happy for themselves," Robert said quietly. "Derek will want money for his business. Tanya will want money for God knows what. And it won't stop. It'll never stop. They're our children. I know, and I love them. But Gracie, we've given them everything, and they still want more." He was right. We both knew it. "So what do we do?" I asked. Robert took my hand. "We invest it. We grow it. We protect it. And when we're gone, when we're really gone, we leave it to the grandkids, to Jasmine and whoever else comes along. We skip our generation and give it to theirs. We build something that lasts." "And we just don't tell anyone?" "We don't tell anyone," he confirmed. "Not Derek, not Tanya, not even your sister. We won the lottery, we paid off our house, we put some in savings, and the rest we invested wisely. That's the story." "But Robert, that's lying." "No," he said firmly. "It's protecting our family from themselves." So that's what we did. On November 15th, 2005, we paid off our mortgage, $8,300 remaining balance. We put $50,000 in a high-yield savings account as our emergency fund. We invested $800,000 in a diversified portfolio of index funds through a financial advisor named Michael Hartley, who Robert found through Richard Beaumont. And in April 2006, we bought the house at 1247 Oakwood Drive for $650,000. Cash. Under an LLC called Oakwood Properties, with me listed as the sole member. The remaining $88,700 we used to pay off our car, take one nice vacation to Hawaii, and establish a small trust fund for Jasmine's education. When people asked how we could afford the new house, Robert told them we'd been saving for years and took out a mortgage. When people asked about his retirement plans, he'd joke that he'd teach until they carried him out. No one questioned it. No one looked too deeply. Why would they? We were just Robert and Grace, the teacher and the nurse, living modestly, saving carefully. Except we weren't. By 2010, that initial $800,000 investment had grown to $1.2 million. By 2015, it was $2.1 million. When Robert died in March 2017, he left me everything. The house, the investments, the savings. His will was simple and clear. To my beloved wife, Grace Marie Williams, I leave my entire estate. She will know what to do with it. I did know. I kept investing. I kept growing it. I bought 2 rental properties in Slidell in 2018 and 2019. Modest houses, $280,000 each, purchased through the same LC. I rented them out for $1,700 a month each. The tenants paid on time. The properties appreciated. By November 2025, right now, today, this moment, my portfolio looks like this. Primary residence, 1,247 Oakwood Drive, $925,000 current market value. Rental property number 1, 483 Magnolia Street, $340,000 current value. Rental property number 2, 1,822 River Road, $355,000 current value. Investment portfolio, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, $2,847,000. Savings account, $134,000. Total net worth, $4,601,000. $4,601,000. And nobody knows. Not Derek, not Patricia, not Tanya, not Brian. Only Jasmine will know when the time comes. I've set up an education trust for her that she'll access when she turns 25. $100,000 for college, graduate school, starting a business, whatever she needs. Richard Beaumont has the paperwork. When I die, everything goes into a trust for my grandchildren, managed by Richard until they're old enough to handle it responsibly. Nothing for Tanya. Nothing for Derek. Because here's what they don't understand. I didn't hide this money to be cruel. I hid it to protect it. To protect them from their own greed. To protect the grandchildren from parents who see money as something owed rather than something earned. Every morning when Tanya knocks on my door to make sure I haven't died in my sleep, I think about this. I think about the woman she's become. The woman who charges her own mother $2,200 a month in rent. The woman who serves me watered-down oatmeal and calls it for your health. The woman who doesn't know, who can't fathom, that the poor old lady in the first-floor bedroom is worth more than she'll see in a lifetime. It would be funny if it wasn't so heartbreaking. But the heartbreak was about to end. Because on November 23rd, 2025, Tanya was going to push me too far, and I was going to push back. At 7:15 a.m., the front door opens and Jasmine comes into the kitchen. Jasmine Porter, 20 years old, Tanya's daughter from her marriage to Brian, my granddaughter, the only light in this cold house. "Morning, everyone," she says, her voice bright. She's wearing jeans and a Southeastern Louisiana University sweatshirt, her natural hair pulled back in a puff. She looks like me at her age. Same smile, same eyes, same way of lighting up a room just by being in it. "Morning, baby," I say, and I mean it. This is the first genuine smile I've given all morning. She comes over and kisses my cheek, then sits down next to me. Tanya and Brian barely look up from their devices. "How'd you sleep, Grandma Grace?" Jasmine asks. "The usual, sweetheart. Woke up at 5:30 like always. You know, one of these days you're going to sleep past 6 and shock us all." She grins and reaches for the coffee pot. As she pours herself a cup, she discreetly grabs the butter dish and slides it toward me, along with the sugar bowl. It's a small rebellion, but it's ours. Every morning, Jasmine sneaks me a little extra. Sometimes it's butter for my oatmeal. Sometimes it's real sugar instead of the artificial sweetener Tanya insists on. Sometimes it's just an extra piece of fruit. "Jasmine," Tanya's voice is sharp. "Don't spoil her. You know the rules." "Mom, it's just butter. Rules are rules. Grandma Grace is on a strict diet for her health. Doctor's orders." This is a lie. My doctor, Dr. Patricia Newman at Slidell Medical, has never restricted my diet. I saw her 2 weeks ago for my annual checkup. She said I'm in excellent health for 68. Blood pressure, 128/82. Cholesterol, within normal range. A1C, 5.4, nowhere near diabetic. She actually told me I could stand to gain a few pounds. But Tanya doesn't know this because Tanya has never once offered to come to my appointments. I take a lift to the doctor's office, wait in the lobby, see Dr. Newman alone, and lift home. Tanya asks, "How was the doctor?" And I say, "Fine," and that's the end of it. Jasmine rolls her eyes but puts the butter back. Under the table, she squeezes my hand. I squeeze back. "What's your schedule today, Jazz?" I ask. "Classes until 3, then I have to work at the coffee shop until 8. She's a journalism major, working part-time at a place called The Daily Grind near campus. She's told me about her dreams: investigative journalism, exposing injustice, giving voice to the voiceless. She reminds me of Robert, the way she sees the world, the way she believes it can be better. That's a long day. You eating enough? Grandma, I'm fine. I eat all the time. You need real food, not just coffee and those muffins from work. Tanya interrupts. Grace, she's 20 years old. She can take care of herself. I bite my tongue. Literally. I press my teeth into the side of my tongue until I taste copper, until the urge to say what I really think passes. Brian stands up, gathering his things. Don't forget to check the electric bill, he says to Tanya. It was suspiciously high last month. His eyes slide to me. Just for a second. Just long enough. I barely use electricity, I say quietly. I turn off the lights when I leave a room. I don't use the heater unless it's below 60. No one's accusing you, Grace, Brian says, but his tone says otherwise. It's just that utilities keep going up, and your pension doesn't exactly stretch far, does it? My pension. They think that's all I have. A small pension from the hospital. $1,847 a month, plus Social Security of $1,624. Total, $3,471 per month. After rent, $2,200, and my share of utilities, $450, though I suspect they inflate this number, I should have about $821 left for everything else. Medication, clothing, personal items, phone bill. They think I'm barely scraping by. They don't know about the $134,000 in savings, the $2.8 million in investments, the $3,400 I earn every month from the rental properties. They don't know that I could buy and sell this entire house, their house, they think, and still have millions left over. Brian leaves. Tanya starts clearing the dishes. Jasmine lingers. Grandma, she says quietly, you want to go for a walk later? Maybe grab coffee? Before I can answer, Tanya interjects. Actually, Grandma Grace, we need to talk to you tonight, after dinner. It's important. Something in her tone makes my skin prickle. What about? I ask. We'll discuss it tonight, Tanya says. Brian and I have been going over the finances, and there are some adjustments we need to make. Adjustments. I've been expecting this. I've seen it coming for months. The way they whisper when they think I can't hear. The way Brian's been calculating something on his iPad at breakfast. The way Tanya's been snippier than usual, like she's working up the courage to say something. All right, I say. Tonight. Jasmine looks worried. She knows something's wrong too. But she's 20, living under her parents' roof, dependent on them for tuition. She can't fight every battle. I gotta run, she says, standing up. She kisses my cheek again, whispers, Love you, Grandma. And she's gone. And I'm alone with Tanya. She sits down across from me, folding her hands on the table. For a moment, she looks like she might actually have a real conversation with me. Like she might ask how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, if I'm happy here. Instead, she says, You did remember rent is due Monday, right? I remembered. Good. And your share of utilities this month is $450. I'll text you the breakdown. $450. Last month it was $400. The month before, $350. That seems high, I say carefully. Energy costs are up, water's up, and you do use a lot of hot water with your showers. I take 1 10-minute shower a day. 1, but I don't argue. I'll transfer it with the rent, I say. Tanya nods, satisfied. Then she gets up and leaves the kitchen. I sit there alone, staring at my empty oatmeal bowl. And I think about tonight. Whatever Tanya wants to discuss, I already know what it is. She's going to ask for more money. And for the first time in 5 years, I'm going to say no. Dinner is at 6 p.m. sharp. I spend the day in my room, reading, listening to the radio, staying out of the way. This is my routine. I've learned that the less visible I am, the less friction there is. I'm like a ghost in my own house, or the house everyone thinks isn't mine. At 5:45, I leave my room and set the table. This is expected of me. I put out 4 plates, 4 sets of silverware, 4 glasses. Tanya cooks. I set and clear. That's the division of labor. Dinner tonight is baked chicken, steamed broccoli, and rice. Simple, efficient. Tanya is a good cook when she wants to be. But lately everything tastes bland. I think it's because she's always thinking about cost per serving, calories per portion. Food has become mathematics instead of nourishment. We sit, we eat, nobody talks much. Brian scrolls on his phone. Tanya reviews something on her tablet, probably expense reports from work. Jasmine is at work, so it's just the three of us. Finally, at 6:32 p.m., I glance at the clock on the wall. Tanya puts down her fork and clears her throat. Grace, we need to talk about your living situation. Living situation. Not your room or your place here. Living situation. Clinical. Detached. All right, I say. I keep my voice calm, neutral. I've been a nurse for 40 years. I know how to manage my expression in a crisis. Brian sets down his phone. This is rehearsed. They've practiced this. We've been going over our finances, Tanya begins, and things have gotten tighter. Property taxes went up 18% this year. Homeowners insurance went up 22%. The water bill has nearly doubled. I don't use much water, I say quietly. And electricity costs are through the roof, she continues, ignoring me. Plus, maintenance on a house this size is expensive. Last month we spent $1,200 on the HVAC system. 2 months ago, $800 on plumbing. I listen. I don't interrupt. The point is, Brian says, taking over, the cost of maintaining this property has increased significantly, and your current rent doesn't cover your proportional share of those costs. Proportional share. He's thought about this. He has numbers. What are you proposing? I ask. Tanya glances at Brian. He nods. We need to increase your rent to $2,700 a month, Tanya says, and your utility share to $550. I do the math automatically. $3,250 per month, my entire Social Security check, plus $1,779 from my pension. That would leave me $692 for everything else. Medication, phone, personal items. If I were really just living on my pension and Social Security, this would be impossible. That's a significant increase, I say carefully. $1,050 more per month. We know it's a lot, Tanya says, and she almost sounds sympathetic. Almost. But we can't keep subsidizing you, Mom. We have our own expenses. Jasmine's tuition, Brian's student loans, my car payment. Subsidizing. That word again. I understand it's expensive to maintain a house, I say slowly. But $2,700 for one bedroom seems... It's not just the bedroom, Brian interrupts. You use the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, the laundry room. You consume water, electricity, gas. You contribute to wear and tear. I look at him, this man who married my daughter 8 years ago. This man who I've cooked for, cleaned for, welcomed into what everyone thinks is their house. This man who has never, not once, asked me how I'm doing. I see, I say. We're not trying to be unreasonable, Tanya adds. But this is just the reality of the situation. Costs are going up everywhere. And if I can't afford the increase? I ask. Silence. Tanya and Brian exchange a look. Then, Tanya says slowly, we'd need to discuss alternative arrangements. Alternative arrangements, I repeat. There are nice assisted living facilities in Slidell, Brian offers. Some of them are quite affordable. We could help you look. I don't need assisted living, I say. My voice is still calm, but there's steel in it now. I'm 68 years old and in perfect health. Of course, Tanya says quickly. We're not saying you do. We're just saying that if the rent here is too high, there might be more suitable options. More suitable, meaning cheaper, meaning anywhere but here. How much time do I have to decide? I ask. We need your answer by Friday, Brian says. November 23rd, 5 days. And if I say I can't afford it? Another look between them. Then, Tanya says, and her voice is cold now, all pretense of sympathy gone, you'd need to make other arrangements. We can give you 30 days to find a new place. 30 days. She's willing to evict her own mother with 30 days' notice. I sit there, looking at my daughter, really looking at her, trying to find the little girl I raised, the one who used to crawl into my lap when she had nightmares, who used to pick me dandelions and call them flowers, who used to say, I love you, Mama, every night before bed. That girl is gone. In her place is a 44-year-old woman who sees her mother as a line item on a budget, a liability, an expense to be managed or eliminated. I understand, I say quietly. So what's your answer? Brian presses. Can you afford the increase? I could. I could easily afford it. I could afford to pay them $10,000 a month and not even notice. I could buy this entire house right now, in cash, and still have millions left over. But that's not the point. The point is they're willing to throw me out if I can't pay. The point is my own daughter just gave me an ultimatum. Pay up or get out. I look at Tanya, really look at her, and I make my decision. No, I say. I can't afford the increase. Tanya's face hardens. Then you know what that means. I do, I say. I stand up from the table. I'll start making arrangements. I walk to my room without looking back. Behind me, I hear Brian say, "Well, that went better than expected." And Tanya replies, "I told you she'd fold. Where else could she possibly go?" I close the door to my room. I sit on the bed. I pull out my phone, and I make 3 phone calls that will change everything. Richard Beaumont speaking. Richard, it's Grace Williams. Grace, hello. Is everything all right? Everything's fine. Actually, I need your help with something. You remember we discussed the possibility of selling the Oakwood property? A pause. I do. Are you saying you want to move forward? I am, as soon as possible. May I ask what changed? My daughter just gave me an eviction notice. Another pause, longer this time. She doesn't know you own the house, does she? No, Richard, she doesn't. Grace, are you sure you want to do this? Once we list the property, there's no taking it back. I'm sure. All right, I'll draw up the paperwork. We'll use the LLC. Keep your name off the listing. When do you want to start showings? Immediately. Listed at $925,000. It should move fast in this market. It will. Grace, what about you? Where will you go? I'll find a place. I have the money. Of course you do. I'll get started tomorrow. Grace? Yes? Your daughter is in for quite a shock. Yes, Richard, she is. Martinez Realty, this is Helen. Helen, it's Grace Williams. We spoke a few months ago about potentially listing my property. Mrs. Williams, yes. 1247 Oakwood Drive. Have you decided to sell? I have. My attorney, Richard Beaumont, will be in touch with the paperwork. But I wanted to give you advance notice. The property will be listed under Oakwood Properties LLC. The current occupants don't know I'm the owner. Oh my, that's quite a situation. They'll be given proper notice after the sale closes. 30 days to vacate, as per Louisiana rental law. I understand. Mrs. Williams, in this market, your house should sell within 2 weeks, maybe faster. That's what I'm counting on, Helen. I'll start preparing marketing materials. Professional photos, virtual tour, the works. This is going to be a beautiful listing. Thank you, Helen. Mrs. Williams, can I ask you something? Of course. Why now? You've owned this house for almost 20 years. Why sell now? I'm quiet for a moment, thinking about how to answer. Because, I say finally, sometimes you have to lose your home to remember who you are. Jasmine, it's Grandma Grace. Grandma, hey, I'm just on break. What's up? Baby, I need you to do something for me, but it's important you don't tell your mother. A pause. Okay, what is it? I need you to start documenting things at the house. Conversations between your mother and Brian. Things they say about me. Can you do that? Grandma, what's going on? I can't explain right now, but trust me, baby. Can you do this? Another pause. Then, yeah, I can do that. Are you in trouble? No, sweetheart, but your mother might be. I don't understand. You will, soon. Just trust me. I trust you, Grandma. Always. I love you, Jasmine. Love you too. I hang up and sit in the darkness of my room. Through the wall, I can hear Tanya and Brian talking in the living room. Should get at least $1,200 for that room if we rent it out properly. Finally, some financial breathing room. She'll probably end up in some senior apartment, which is better for her anyway. They're already planning how to profit from my absence. They don't know that in 2 weeks, maybe 3, a realtor is going to knock on their door with news that will shatter their entire world. They don't know that every dish they're eating from, every floor they're walking on, every wall that surrounds them, it's all mine. They don't know that the poor old woman they just evicted is worth more than they'll earn in 3 lifetimes. But they're about to find out. I open my phone and look at my bank balance one more time. Checking account, $134,847.23. I smile in the darkness, and I start packing. Friday, November 23rd, 2025. 4:47 a.m. I wake up before my alarm. The sky outside is still dark, that deep purple black that comes just before dawn. I've been awake most of the night anyway, listening to the house settle, memorizing sounds I won't hear much longer. I dress quietly. Navy blue slacks, a cream-colored sweater, comfortable shoes. I look around the room one last time. The sagging bed, the beige walls, the single window. 5 years I've lived in this 10 by 12-foot box, pretending to be poor, pretending to be grateful, pretending this was charity instead of theft. I'm done pretending. My 2 suitcases are already packed. Clothes, toiletries, medications, important documents. 1 cardboard box holds what matters. Photographs of Robert, my mother's Bible, the quilt my grandmother made, a few books. Everything else can stay. Things are just things. At 5:15 a.m., I hear a car pull up outside. My Lyft driver, a man named Marcus, who I requested specifically. He's 67, retired military, drives to keep busy. I've used him for doctor's appointments before. He's reliable, and more importantly, discreet. I take one last look around. On the kitchen table, I leave an envelope. Plain white, Tanya's name written on the front in my neat nursing school handwriting. Inside, a single piece of paper. Tanya, I cannot afford your increase. As you suggested, I am making other arrangements. I will be out by end of day Friday, well within your 30-day timeline. The room key is on the counter. Grace, not Mom, not Love, just Grace. I lock the door behind me and walk to Marcus's car. He gets out to help with my bags. You traveling, Mrs. Williams? He asks kindly. Something like that, I say. I'm moving. Oh, somewhere nice, I hope. We'll see. He loads my suitcases into the trunk. I settle into the back seat with my box of memories on my lap. As we pull away from 1247 Oakwood Drive, I don't look back. I've spent enough time looking at that house. Where to? Marcus asks. Extended Stay America, 2847 Gauss Boulevard East. That's one of those hotel apartments, right? That's right. I've booked it for 8 weeks. The cost, $897 per week, $7,176 total for 8 weeks. Less than 3 months of the rent I've been paying to live in my own house. The room has a kitchenette, free Wi-Fi, weekly housekeeping. Everything I need while I figure out what comes next. We drive through Slidell as the sun starts to rise. The city looks different at this hour, cleaner somehow, full of possibility. Marcus doesn't ask questions, and I'm grateful for that. At 5:52 a.m., we pull up to the extended stay. Marcus helps me to the door with my bags. You need help getting settled, Mrs. Williams? No, thank you, Marcus. You've been very kind. I tip him $40 on a $23 fare. He tries to refuse, but I insist. You take care of yourself, he says. I will, I promise. Room 237 is on the 2nd floor, overlooking the parking lot. It's small, studio layout, maybe 300 square feet, but it's clean. Queen bed, small table with 2 chairs, kitchenette with a microwave and mini fridge, bathroom with a shower. There's a coffee maker on the counter and a flat-screen TV on the wall. It's perfect. I make coffee, real coffee, the good kind with real cream and sugar, and sit by the window. The sun is fully up now, turning the sky pink and gold. I pull out my phone and check my email. 3 new messages. From Richard Beaumont, 6:04 a.m. Subject, property listing, action required. Grace, paperwork is complete. Helen Martinez will begin showings on Monday, November 26th. I've arranged for all correspondence to go through the LLC. Your name will not appear anywhere in the listing or initial sales documents. Please confirm receipt. Richard, I reply confirmed. Proceed. From Helen Martinez, 5:47 a.m. Subject, 1247 Oakwood Drive, listing details. Mrs. Williams, professional photographer scheduled for Saturday, November 24th at 10 a.m. Occupants will be notified as landlord inspection. Virtual tour company coming Monday, November 26th at 2 p.m. Listing will go live Monday evening. Based on comparable sales in the neighborhood, I'm confident we'll have offers within 72 hours. Recent sales data, 1,289 Oakwood, 3,100 square feet, sold for $897,000 last month. 1,156 Oakwood, 2,800 square feet, sold for $851,000 in September. Your property at 3,200 square feet should command premium pricing. Helen, I smile. They're going to be so confused when the photographer shows up tomorrow. From Jasmine Porter, 11:34 p.m. last night. Subject, no subject. Grandma, Mom found your note this morning. I know it's Friday, but she went down early. She's furious. She's calling everyone. Uncle Derek, Aunt Patricia, even people from church. She's telling them you abandoned the family and couldn't handle adult responsibilities. Brian keeps saying good riddance and talking about how much they'll get for renting the old ladies' room. I'm recording everything like you asked. Voice memos on my phone. I've got 47 minutes so far. Where are you? Are you safe? I'm worried. Love, Jasmine. I call her immediately. She answers on the first ring. Grandma, I'm fine, baby. I'm safe. I'm at Extended Stay America on Gauss Boulevard, room 237. Can I come see you? Not yet. Your mother would follow you, and I'm not ready for that conversation. But soon, I promise. Grandma, what's happening? Mom is losing her mind. She keeps saying you're going to end up homeless, that you're being irrational. Jasmine, listen to me carefully. I need you to keep doing what you're doing. Keep recording. Keep documenting. Everything they say about me, about money, about the house. I need it all. Why? Because in about 2 weeks, your mother is going to get some very surprising news. And when she does, I need proof of how she's been treating me. What kind of news? You'll see. Just trust me. Can you do that? A pause. Then, Yeah, I trust you, Grandma. Good girl. Now go to class. Keep your grades up. And Jasmine? Yeah? I love you, more than you know. Love you too, Grandma. I hang up and finish my coffee. Through the window, I watch people starting their days. A woman jogging, a man walking his dog. Normal people living normal lives. For the first time in 5 years, I feel like I'm one of them again. Free. Saturday, November 24th, 2025. 10:07 a.m. I'm sitting in a cafe 3 blocks from Oakwood Drive when my phone buzzes. Text from Helen Martinez. Photographer at property now. Occupant, your daughter. Very confused but compliant. Says she wasn't informed of any inspection. I told her the landlord has right to access per lease agreement. She asked for landlord's contact info. I said I'd pass her request along. How do you want me to handle? I reply, tell her the landlord will be in touch if necessary. Proceed with all scheduled appointments. 20 minutes later, another text from Jasmine. OMG, Grandma, there was a photographer here taking pictures of everything. Mom kept asking who owns the house and they wouldn't tell her. She's freaking out. Brian's been on his laptop all morning trying to look up property records. I think he's searching the county database. Good. Let him search. The deed is filed under Oakwood Properties, LLC, with a registered agent address in Baton Rouge. Even if Brian finds the LLC, he'd need to file a formal request with the Secretary of State to see the member list. That takes time. And money. Time we don't have. Money he won't want to spend. Monday, November 26th, 2025, 6:43 p.m., the listing goes live. Helen sends me the link. I open it on my phone and I have to admit, it's beautiful. For sale, $925,000, 1247 Oakwood Drive, Slidell, LA, 70458. Property details, 3,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. Built 2004, renovated 2015, hardwood floors throughout granite countertops, stainless appliances. Master suite with walk-in closet. Backyard with pond. 2-car garage. Premium lot in sought-after neighborhood. The photographs are stunning. The living room with afternoon light streaming through the windows. The kitchen with its gleaming counters. The backyard with the pond and garden. Even my room on the first floor looks charming in the photos. The photographer somehow made beige look elegant. At the bottom of the listing, occupied. Tenants will vacate upon sale closing. Showings available with 24-hour notice. Within an hour, Helen texts. 3 showing requests already. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. Should I confirm? Me. Confirm all. That evening, Jasmine calls. Grandma, there's a for sale sign in the yard. I can hear the panic in her voice. I see, I say calmly. Mom saw it when she came home from work. She ran out to the yard and just stared at it. Then she started calling the number on the sign, but it goes to a receptionist who won't tell her anything except the owner has decided to sell. How's your mother handling it? Grandma, she's terrified. She keeps saying, this can't be happening. We just got rid of Grace. We were supposed to have breathing room. Brian's trying to calm her down, but he looks scared too. They should be scared, I say quietly. Why? Because they're about to lose the house they thought they owned. Tuesday, Jasmine comes to visit me at the extended stay. She brings coffee from the daily grind and a bag of beignets. You look good, Grandma, she says, settling into the chair across from me. Better than you did at the house. I feel good, baby. I'm sleeping better. Eating better. You're eating beignets for breakfast. That's definitely better. She grins, but then her expression turns serious. Grandma, I need to ask you something. Go ahead. Where did you get the money to stay here? This place costs like $900 a week. That's more than your whole pension check. Smart girl. Of course she did the math. I have savings, I say carefully. How much savings? Enough. She studies my face. You're not telling me something. Not yet, but I will. Soon. She opens her laptop, a MacBook Air she bought herself with money from her coffee shop job, and pulls up a document. Okay, well, while you're keeping secrets, I've been doing my job. Investigative journalism, remember? She turns the screen toward me. I've been documenting everything like you asked. Voice recordings, dates, times, quotes. I've got it all organized. I look at the document. It's impressive. A detailed timeline with entries like November 23rd, 2025, 7:52 p.m., location kitchen, present Tanya Bryan. Quote, Tanya, I told you she'd fold. Where else could she possibly go? The old woman doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Quote, Bryan, we should have done this sooner. Could have been getting premium rent for that room for years. November 24th, 2025, 10:23 a.m., location living room, present Tanya Bryan photographer. Quote, Tanya to photographer. Who owns this house? I have a right to know. I've been paying rent here for 5 years. Photographer response. Ma'am, I just take pictures. November 26th, 2025, 6:58 p.m., location, front yard, present, Tanya Bryan real estate sign. Quote, Tanya on phone. This is insane. How can they sell the house with us in it? Don't we have rights? We have a lease. Note, they do not have a lease. Grace never signed formal lease agreement with Tanya. Jasmine, I say slowly, this is incredible work. Thanks. But Grandma, I'm confused. Why do you need all this? What's going on? I take a deep breath. What do you know about property records? You mean like who owns what? Exactly. I know they're public. Anyone can look them up online through the parish assessor's office. Why? Have you looked up 1247 Oakwood Drive? No? Should I? Try it now. She opens a new tab and navigates to the St. Tammany Parish Assessor's website. Types in the address. Clicks search. I watch her face as the information loads. Her eyes widen. It says the owner is Oakwood Properties, LLC, purchased April 2006 for $650,000. Current assessed value, $887,000. Keep reading, I say gently. She scrolls. Property taxes paid in full. No mortgage. No liens. She looks up at me. Grandma, this doesn't make sense. If there's no mortgage, then whoever owns this LLC owns the house free and clear. That's right. But who owns the LLC? What would you do to find out? As a journalist? She thinks. I'd file a request with the Louisiana Secretary of State. All LLCs have to register their members. It's public record. And how long would that take? With the request form and processing? Maybe a week, maybe 2 if they're backed up. Do you have 2 weeks, Jasmine? What do you mean? The house has showings scheduled. 3 yesterday, 4 today. Helen, the realtor, says there will be offers by the weekend. So? So your mother has maybe 2 weeks before the house is sold and she gets a 30-day notice to vacate. Jasmine's face goes pale. Oh my God, she's going to be evicted. Yes. But why? Why would the owner sell now? And why wouldn't they talk to Mom first? Work something out? I look at my granddaughter, this brilliant, beautiful girl who inherited her grandfather's sense of justice and her grandmother's determination. Jasmine, I say quietly, what if I told you the owner has been trying to work something out for 5 years? And what if your mother kept making it worse? She stares at me. I can see her mind working, piecing things together. Grandma, how do you know so much about this? Because, baby, I'm the owner of Oakwood Properties, LLC. I bought that house in 2006. I've owned it for 19 years. Your mother has been paying me rent to live in my house and treating me like I'm a charity case the entire time. Silence. Jasmine just stares at me, her mouth open. Say that again, she whispers. I own the house. I've always owned it. Your mother doesn't know. Your father doesn't know. Derek doesn't know. The only people who know are my lawyer, my financial advisor, and now you. But how? Where did you get $650,000 in 2006? Your grandfather and I won the lottery, $2.1 million. We kept it secret because we knew what would happen if we told your mother and Derek. They'd want the money. They'd want all of it, and it would be gone in 5 years, maybe less. So we invested it, grew it, protected it. How much do you have now? I pull up my phone and show her my portfolio summary. Her eyes go wide. $4.6 million? $4,601,000 to be exact, as of this morning. She sits back in her chair, stunned. Mom has no idea. None. And you're selling the house. I am. To punish her. No, I say firmly. To free myself. There's a difference. Wednesday. What I don't know yet, what I won't find out until Jasmine tells me later, is that at exactly this moment, Tanya is sitting at her desk at Caldwell & Associates, the real estate accounting firm where she's worked for 6 years. Her job is processing property tax records, insurance documents, and deed transfers for commercial and residential properties across 3 parishes. She's good at her work. Detail-oriented. Thorough. Too thorough. According to Jasmine's later account, this is what happened. Tanya is processing a routine batch of property tax payments when she sees an address that makes her freeze. 1247 Oakwood Drive. She clicks on the file. It's the quarterly tax payment, processed automatically by the parish. Owner, Oakwood Properties, LLC. Amount $4,287. She stares at it. Then, because she can't help herself, she opens her company's database. She has access to 20 years of property records. She types in the address. The screen fills with information. Deed transfer history. April 18, 2006. Property purchased by Oakwood Properties, LLC for $650,000. Seller Morrison Family Trust. Buyer Oakwood Properties, LLC registered agent Richard Beaumont, Esquire, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tanya scrolls down. LLC member information, accessed via Secretary of State database. Oakwood Properties, LLC, registered April 3, 2006. Single member, Grace Marie Williams. Business address, 1247 Oakwood Drive, Slidell, LA, 70458. According to Jasmine, who found her mother's search history later, Tanya sat frozen at her desk for a full 3 minutes. Then she searched. Louisiana Lottery winners, 2005. She found a list. Most names redacted for privacy, but some allowed to be published. October 27, 2005. Powerball, $2.1 million. G. Williams, Slidell. L.A. Jasmine says her mother's hands were shaking when she printed out the property records. She folded them, put them in her purse, and sat at her desk, staring at nothing. That was November 28, 2023, 2 years ago. For 2 years, Tanya has known that her mother owns the house, and for 2 years, she said nothing. According to what Jasmine pieced together from recorded conversations over the past few days, here's what Tanya did with that information. December 2023. Increased Grace's rent from $1,800 to $2,000. Told Grace it was market adjustment. March 2024. Increased utilities from $280 to $350. Told Grace energy costs are rising. July 2024. Increased utilities again to $400. Added water surcharge. October 2024. Started planning bigger increase. Discussed with Brian, maximizing revenue before the old woman dies. November 2025. Demanded $3,250 per month total, knowing it would force Grace out. Why? Jasmine found a document on Tanya's laptop. She's become quite the investigator. It was a financial projection spreadsheet titled, Inheritance Planning, Confidential. The assumptions. Mother dies within 5 to 7 years. Actuarial average for 68-year-old woman. House left to children, 50% Tanya, 50% Derek. Current market value, $925,000. Tanya's share, $462,500. Strategy: extract maximum rent until inheritance occurs. Tanya wasn't just taking advantage of her mother. She was running a calculated long-term financial exploitation scheme based on the assumption that Grace would die soon and Tanya would inherit everything. Thursday, my phone rings. Unknown number with a 985 area code. Local Slidell. Hello? Mom, it's Derek. I haven't spoken to my son in 4 months, not since Father's Day, when he called to ask if I had any extra cash lying around because his truck payment was late. Derek, how did you get this number? Jasmine gave it to me. Mom, what's going on? Tanya called me last night, hysterical. She says you left the house and now the house is being sold and you're not answering her calls. I'm not answering because I don't want to talk to her. Mom, she's worried about you. Is she, Derek? Or is she worried about losing her free ride? Silence. What does that mean? He asks quietly. It means your sister gave me an ultimatum. Pay $3,250 a month or leave. I left. Now she's upset there's no more money coming in. $3,250? That's insane. That's more than most apartments. I know. Where are you staying? Extended Stay America. I'm fine, Derek. I can take care of myself. Mom, that place costs a fortune. How are you paying for it? Everyone wants to know about my money. It's the only thing anyone ever asks. I have savings, I say. What savings? You always said you lived paycheck to paycheck. I lied. Another silence. Longer this time. You lied, he repeats. Yes. Why? Because if I'd told the truth, Derek, you and your sister would have bled me dry years ago. Every time I turn around, it's Mom, can you help with the truck payment? Or Mom, the business needs $20,000. Or Mom, just this one time. That's not fair, isn't it? When's the last time you called me just to talk, Derek? Not to ask for money, just to see how I'm doing? He can't answer. That's what I thought, I say quietly. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you didn't want to realize. It was easier to see me as a bank than as a person. That's not true. I love you. Do you, Derek? Or do you love what I can do for you? I hear him take a shaky breath. When he speaks again, his voice cracks. Mom, please, don't shut me out. I know I've made mistakes. I know I've asked for too much. But you're my mother. I don't want to lose you. Something in his voice, something genuine, something hurt, makes me pause. Derek has always been weaker than Tanya, more easily influenced. His wife, Patricia, pushes him, manipulates him. But underneath, there's still the little boy who used to help me fold laundry, who used to tell me about his day at school, who used to say, I love you, Mama, without wanting anything in return. Derek, I say gently, I'm not shutting you out, but things are going to change. You need to understand that. What things? Everything. The house, the money, the family dynamics, everything. I don't understand. You will. Soon. Derek, let me ask you something. Did Tanya tell you anything else about the house? About who owns it? A pause. She said something weird. She said she found out something about the house 2 years ago, but she never told anyone. Did she say what she found out? No. She just kept saying, I can't believe this, over and over. Mom, what's going on? Your sister has been lying to you, to all of us, for 2 years. About what? About who owns 1247 Oakwood Drive. Who owns it? I do, Derek. I've owned it since 2006. Tanya's been collecting rent from me to live in my own house. Silence. Complete shocked silence. That's impossible, he finally says. It's not. I bought it with lottery money your father and I won in 2005. We never told you or Tanya because we knew what would happen. You won the lottery? How much? $2.1 million. I hear something crash in the background, like he dropped his phone. Derek? I'm here. Mom, this is insane. You've been pretending to be poor for 20 years? I haven't been pretending anything. I just haven't advertised my wealth. Does Tanya know? She found out 2 years ago. And instead of telling anyone, instead of changing how she treated me, she increased my rent and planned to keep milking me until I died. No, Tanya wouldn't. She would. And she did. Ask Jasmine. She has recordings. Recordings? Of Tanya and Brian talking about maximizing revenue from me, about how they were finally going to have breathing room when I left, about renting out my room for $1,200 a month. Jesus, Derek whispers. Now, do you understand why I left? Yeah, I do. He's quiet for a moment. Mom, I'm sorry. For everything. For not protecting you. For not seeing what was happening. I don't need protection, Derek. I need respect. I need to be treated like a person, not a resource. I understand. What can I do? Nothing right now. But Derek, when this all comes out, and it's going to come out, I need you to choose a side. Your sister's going to want you to be angry at me. She's going to want you to join her in playing the victim. Don't. I won't. I promise. We'll see, I say. Actions, Derek, not words. I've heard words before. After I hang up, I sit by the window for a long time, thinking about my children. Tanya, who discovers the truth and weaponized it. Derek, who never looked deep enough to see it. Both of them, in their own ways, have failed me. But maybe, just maybe, Derek can still be saved. Friday text from Helen Martinez. Grace, we have an offer. $895,000, all cash, 14-day close. Buyers are a retired couple from New York, relocating to Louisiana. They're motivated. What do you say? I stare at my phone. $895,000. After realtor fees and closing costs, I'll net about $847,000. Add that to my existing $4.6 million portfolio, and I'll have $5.45 million total. More than enough to buy a small, beautiful house and live comfortably for the rest of my life. More than enough to ensure Jasmine's future. More than enough to prove that Grace Williams is nobody's charity case. I type, counter at $910,000. If they accept, we have a deal. Helen, on it. 20 minutes later, they accepted, $910,000. Closing set for December 14th. Congratulations, Grace. It's done. In 2 weeks, the house will be sold, and Tanya will receive a 30-day eviction notice from the new owners. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I just feel tired and ready. Ready for the truth to finally come out. Ready for my daughter to face what she's done. Ready to reclaim my life. I text Jasmine. It's happening. House sold. Closing December 14th. Your mother will be notified December 15th. Be ready. Her response. Oh my God, Grandma. This is really happening. Me. Yes, baby. This is really happening. And then, because I need to say it out loud, I call Richard Beaumont. Richard, the house is sold. Congratulations, Grace. How do you feel? I think about that question. Really think about it. Free, I say finally. For the first time in 20 years, I feel free. Good. You deserve it. What about the confrontation? How do you want to handle telling Tanya? I don't. Let the eviction notice do the talking. Let her come to me. She will, you know. She's going to be furious. Let her be furious. I've been patient for 20 years, Richard. I've pretended to be poor while my own daughter exploited me. I've paid rent to live in my own house. I've eaten watered-down oatmeal while she bought expensive coffee. I'm done being patient. Understood. Grace? Yes? Your husband would be proud of you. My eyes fill with tears. Thank you, Richard. That means more than you know. I hang up and look out the window at the parking lot. The sun is setting, painting everything gold and pink. In 2 weeks, Tanya will know the truth. In 2 weeks, everything will change. I smile, and I wait. Saturday. The closing takes place at Richard Beaumont's law office on Tyler Street in downtown Slidell. It's a beautiful old building, renovated with exposed brick and tall windows. The conference room has a long mahogany table where I sit with Richard on one side, and the buyers, Edward and Dorothy Greenfield, both 67, recently retired from New York, sit on the other with their attorney. The Greenfields are lovely people. Dorothy taught elementary school for 40 years. Edward was a firefighter. They sold their house in Rochester for $580,000 and wanted somewhere warm to retire. When they saw the listing for 1,247 Oakwood Drive, Dorothy told me, they knew it was perfect. It has such good energy, she says, signing page after page. We can just feel it's been a happy home. I smile and don't correct her. The closing takes 97 minutes. Mountains of paperwork. Signatures on every page. The title company representative, a brisk woman named Sandra Chen, walks us through each document. Warranty deed, bill of sale settlement statement, closing disclosure title, insurance policy, certificate of occupancy. At 11:47 a.m., Sandra slides the final document across the table to me. Mrs. Williams, this is the wire transfer confirmation. The funds have been deposited into your account ending in 7734. Net proceeds, $847,350. I look at the number, $847,350. Added to my existing portfolio, I now have $5,448,350. $5.4 million. Congratulations, Sandra says. The property is officially transferred. Edward reaches across the table to shake my hand. Thank you, Mrs. Williams. We're going to take good care of your house. I know you will, I say, and I mean it. Richard hands me an envelope. The new owners will be sending the 30-day eviction notice to the current occupants tomorrow, December 15th, via certified mail and sheriff's delivery, as we discussed. Thank you, Richard. After the Greenfields leave, Richard and I sit alone in the conference room. How do you feel? He asks. Lighter, I say. Like I've been carrying something heavy for 20 years and I finally put it down. Your daughter is going to be at your door within 48 hours of receiving that notice. I know. Are you ready for that confrontation? I think about the recordings Jasmine has collected. 73 separate audio files, totaling 6 hours and 42 minutes of Tanya and Brian discussing me, dismissing me, exploiting me. I think about the financial records I've kept, the proof of every inflated bill, every unfair charge, every manipulative conversation. Yes, I say. I'm ready. That afternoon I close on my new house. It's a small cottage at 892 Bellwood Lane, 15 minutes from my old neighborhood. 1 story, 1,400 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Built in 1987, recently renovated. Hardwood floors, updated kitchen, a sunroom that faces a garden full of camellias and azaleas. The previous owners, a couple moving to assisted living, left it immaculate. Purchase price, $385,000. I pay cash. The closing takes 40 minutes. When I receive the keys, I drive straight there. The house is empty, echoing. Afternoon light streams through the sunroom windows. I walk through each room slowly, imagining my furniture here, my books, my photographs of Robert. This isn't just a house. This is my home. Mine. Nobody else's name on the deed. Nobody to answer to. I stand in the sunroom and cry. Not sad tears, relief tears, freedom tears. After 20 years of lies and pretense, after 5 years of humiliation in my own house, I'm finally free. I text Jasmine. New address, 892 Bellwood Lane. Come see it when you can. Her reply comes immediately. OMG, Grandma. It's beautiful. Mom doesn't know yet, does she? Me. She'll know tomorrow. The eviction notice goes out at 9 a.m. Jasmine. I'll be recording. This is going to be insane. Monday, December 16th, 2025, 2:47 p.m. I'm unpacking boxes in my new kitchen when my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Hello? Where are you? Tanya's voice, shaking with rage. Hello, Tanya. Don't you hello Tanya me. Where the hell are you? I've been calling for 3 weeks. I've been busy, moving into my new home. Your new... She chokes on the words. We got a letter today, from a sheriff. It says we have 30 days to vacate the property because the house has been sold. Do you know anything about this? I know the house was sold, yes. How? How do you know? Did the landlord contact you? I smile even though she can't see me. In a manner of speaking, Grace, this isn't funny. We're being evicted. Brian and I have 30 days to find a new place. Pack everything, move. This is a nightmare. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry? That's all you have to say? After we took you in, gave you a home, took care of you for 5 years. Tanya, I paid you $2,200 every single month. That's $132,000 over 5 years. You didn't take me in. I paid rent. For a room? Just a room. You got so much more than that. Did I? Let's see. I got a 10 by 12 foot bedroom, watered down oatmeal for breakfast, and the privilege of being reminded every day that I was a burden. That's what I got. Silence. Then, I want to see you. In person. Right now. That's not possible. Make it possible, Grace. You owe me that much. I don't owe you anything, Tanya. But fine. You want to talk? Come to my new address. 892 Bellwood Lane. I'll be here. I hang up before she can respond. 38 minutes later, a car screeches into my driveway. Tanya gets out, followed by Brian. She looks terrible. Hair uncombed, no makeup, wearing sweatpants. I've never seen her like this. Tanya is always put together, always professional. This woman looks unraveled. I open the door before she can knock. Hello, Tanya. Brian. Tanya pushes past me into the house. Nice place, she says, her voice dripping with sarcasm. How can you afford this on your pension? Would you like some tea? I ask calmly. I don't want tea. I want answers. She whirls on me. That house, our house, was sold. The new owners are taking possession January 15th. We have 30 days. 30 days, Grace. That's the standard notice period in Louisiana, I say. Actually, it's quite generous. Some states only require 7 days. Brian steps forward. Mrs. Williams, we need to know. Did the landlord contact you? Did they ask about us as tenants? Because if they did, if you said something negative, I didn't need to say anything, Brian. The property was sold as is, with the understanding that current occupants would vacate. Current occupants, Tanya repeats bitterly. That's us, your own daughter. Yes, Tanya, that's you. She stares at me and I see something shift in her eyes. Realization. Fear. Who owns the house, Grace? I'm sorry? Who owns the house? Each word is sharp, distinct. I looked it up. It's owned by Oakwood Properties, LLC. I tried to find out who owns the LLC, but the records are sealed. So I'm asking you, who owns it? Here it is, the moment I've been waiting for. I do, Tanya. I own Oakwood Properties, LLC. I bought that house in April 2006 for $650,000. I've owned it for 19 years, 7 months, and 26 days. The color drains from her face. That's impossible, she whispers. It's not. I have the deed. Filed with St. Tammany Parish on April 18th, 2006. Would you like to see it? You're lying. I walk to my desk, pull out a folder, and hand it to her. Inside, a certified copy of the warranty deed, showing Grace Marie Williams as the sole member of Oakwood Properties, LLC, purchaser of 1247 Oakwood Drive. Tanya's hands shake as she reads it. Once, twice, 3 times. You've owned the house this whole time? Yes. And you've been paying me rent? Your own rent? To live in your own house? Yes. Why? The word comes out as a sob. Why would you do that? Because I wanted to see if you'd ever treat me like a person instead of a paycheck. You failed, Tanya. Brian snatches the deed from Tanya's hands. He reads it, his face growing red. This is fraud. This is financial manipulation. You let us believe. I let you believe what you wanted to believe, I interrupt. I never said I did not own the house. You assumed. Where did you get $650,000? Tanya demands. Your father and I won the lottery in 2005, $2.1 million. She actually staggers backward, like I've hit her. The lottery? You won the lottery and never told us? That's correct. Why? We're your children. We deserve to know. Did you? What would you have done with that information, Tanya? We would have. You would have spent every penny within 5 years. You and Derek both. Just like you've spent every dollar I've ever given you, and you've never paid back a single dime. Speaking of which, I say quietly, when did you find out I owned the house? Tanya freezes. What? You work in real estate accounting, Tanya. You process property records every day. When did you look up 1247 Oakwood Drive and discover I was the owner? She says nothing. I'll tell you when. November 28th, 2023. 2 years ago. You found the deed. You found the LLC registration. You found the lottery winner database. And you said nothing. How do you? Because I have recordings, Tanya. 6 months of recordings. Every conversation you and Brian had about me. About maximizing revenue. About getting what we can before she croaks. About your inheritance planning spreadsheet. I pull out my phone and press play. Tanya's voice fills the room. I can't believe Mom owns the house. She's been playing poor this whole time. Well, two can play that game. If she wants to pretend to be broke, I'll charge her like she's broke. She'll never know the difference. Brian's voice. How much can we increase the rent without making her suspicious? Tanya. She's old. She won't question it. And when she dies, we inherit everything anyway. Might as well get what we can now. I press stop. Tanya's face is white. You recorded us? For 6 months. I have 73 separate files. All time-stamped, all dated. All admissible in court. Court? Brian's voice cracks. You're going to sue us? No, Brian, but you're going to sue me. Aren't you, Tanya? Tanya's jaw tightens. You're damn right I am. This is elder abuse. This is fraud. This is financial exploitation? I finish. Funny. That's exactly what I'd call charging your own mother inflated rent and utilities while knowing she owned the house. Louisiana Revised Statute 1443. 3 defines elder financial exploitation as the intentional misappropriation of funds or assets of a person 60 years or older. That's a felony, Tanya, punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. She stares at me. Get out of my house, I say quietly. You have 30 days to vacate 1247 Oakwood Drive. After that, the new owners will have you removed by the sheriff if necessary. And Tanya? What? If you come to my home again without an invitation, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. Do you understand? She opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. Then she turns and runs to the car. Brian follows, but he stops at the door. You're going to regret this, Mrs. Williams. No, Brian, I say. I really won't. Friday, December 20th, 2025, I'm served with the lawsuit at my front door. A process server, polite but efficient, hands me the documents and asks me to sign. Tanya Williams Porter versus Grace Marie Williams, filed in the 22nd Judicial District Court, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. The complaint is 23 pages long. I read it in my sunroom, drinking coffee, while winter light filters through the windows. Tanya's claims, count 1, fraudulent misrepresentation. Plaintiff alleges, defendant intentionally misrepresented her financial status and property ownership, causing plaintiff to make decisions based on false information. Damages sought, $500,000. Count 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Plaintiff alleges defendant's deceptive conduct caused severe emotional distress, anxiety, and psychological harm. Damages sought, $750,000. Count 3, breach of fiduciary duty. Plaintiff alleges defendant, as plaintiff's mother, owed a fiduciary duty to be honest about financial matters affecting the family. Damages sought, $250,000. Total damages, $1,500,000. I call Richard Beaumont. I got served, I tell him. I expected as much. What are they claiming? I read him the complaints. He's silent for a moment, then laughs. Grace, this is the most frivolous lawsuit I've seen in 30 years of practice. Breach of fiduciary duty? A parent doesn't owe their adult child financial disclosure. This is going to get thrown out. I don't want it thrown out, I say. I want it to go to trial. What? Why? Because I want the truth on the record. I want a judge to hear the recordings. I want the community to know what Tanya did. I want justice, Richard, not a quiet settlement. He's quiet for a long moment. You're sure? Completely. All right, then we fight. I'll file our response. And Grace? Yes? We're going to counterclaim. Elder financial exploitation, unjust enrichment, and fraud. If Tanya wants a court battle, we'll give her one. Meanwhile, Jasmine has been busy. She texts me, Grandma, I finished my article. Can I send it to you? She emails me a document titled, When Home Becomes Hostile, a Granddaughter's Investigation into Elder Abuse. It's 10 pages, single-spaced, beautifully written, thoroughly researched. It includes timeline of rent increases, transcripts of recorded conversations, financial analysis showing how Tanya inflated costs interview with doctor. Patricia Newman, my doctor, confirming I was never on a restricted diet * property records showing ownership history * expert commentary from Louisiana Elder Abuse Advocates * statistics on family financial exploitation. At the end, Jasmine writes, My grandmother, Grace Williams, is one of millions of elderly Americans financially exploited by family members each year. The difference is, she had the resources and courage to fight back. Most don't. This story isn't about revenge. It's about justice. And it's about asking ourselves, what do we owe our elders? What do they owe us? And where's the line between family obligation and exploitation? I call her immediately. Jasmine, this is incredible. You think so? I submitted it to the Slidell Daily News, the Times-Picayune, and ProPublica. The Times-Picayune already emailed back. They want to publish it. What did your mother say? I haven't told her. I'm not going to. She'll find out when everyone else does. She's going to be furious. Good, Jasmine says fiercely. Let her be furious. What she did to you? Grandma, I'm so angry. I've been living in that house, watching her treat you like garbage, and I didn't see it. I didn't protect you. Baby, that wasn't your job. It should have been. But it's my job now. I'm a journalist. I expose injustice. And what happened to you? That's injustice. The article publishes on December 28th, 2025. It goes viral within 6 hours. Hashtag Grace Williams case trends on Twitter. Facebook posts are shared thousands of times. The story is picked up by NPR, CNN, and The Washington Post. By December 30th, Jasmine's article has been read 2.7 million times. People are furious. At Tanya, at the system that allows this, at the epidemic of elder abuse that nobody talks about. Support pours in for me. Messages, letters, emails. Strangers telling me their own stories. Thanking me for speaking up. Calling me brave. I'm not brave. I'm just tired of being silent. Thursday, January 30th, 2026. The courthouse is packed. Jasmine's article brought media attention. Local news cameras line the hallway. Reporters try to ask me questions. Richard shields me, guides me through. Courtroom 4B, 22nd Judicial District Court. The Honorable Margaret Thibodeau presiding. Judge Thibodeau is a black woman, 55 years old, with steel gray hair and a reputation for no-nonsense justice. She's been on the bench for 18 years. Richard tells me she hates frivolous lawsuits and has zero tolerance for elder abuse. The courtroom is wood-paneled, formal. I sit at the defendant's table with Richard. Across the aisle, Tanya sits with her attorney, Stephen Blackwell, an expensive lawyer from New Orleans, charging $650 an hour. Behind us, the gallery is full. Jasmine sits in the front row. Derek is there too, alone. Patricia didn't come. He catches my eye and nods. I nod back. Judge Thibodeau enters. We all rise. Be seated, she says. Her voice is clear, authoritative. We're here for Williams Porter versus Williams, case number 2025-CV-8847. Counsel, are you ready to proceed? Yes, Your Honor, Blackwell says, standing. He's tall, silver-haired, commanding. The plaintiff is ready. Defense is ready, Your Honor, Richard says. Mr. Blackwell, you may call your first witness. Tanya takes the stand. She's dressed conservatively, navy suit, minimal jewelry, hair pulled back. She looks small in this witness box. Vulnerable. That's intentional. Blackwell walks her through her testimony. She describes taking me in after Robert died. A lie. I moved in 3 years after Robert died, and I paid rent from day one. She describes caring for me, cooking for me, worrying about my health. All lies or gross exaggerations. She describes the betrayal when she discovered I owned the house. Mrs. Porter, when you learned your mother owned the property, how did that make you feel? Devastated, Tanya says, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. Betrayed. My whole life was a lie. Every time I worried about paying rent to the landlord, every time I stressed about making ends meet, she was the landlord. She was watching me struggle and saying nothing. And you'd been paying rent for 5 years? Yes. $2,200 a month. That's $132,000. Did you ever miss a payment? Never. I paid on time, every month. And how has this revelation affected you? I can't sleep. I can't eat. I've had to start therapy. My marriage is strained. I feel like I don't even know my own mother. It's a good performance. I'll give her that. Then Richard stands for cross-examination. Mrs. Porter, you testified that you took in your mother after your father died. When did your father pass away? March 2017. And when did your mother move into 1247 Oakwood Drive? A pause. October 2020. 3.5 years later? Yes. So your mother didn't move in immediately after your father's death? No. In fact, she lived independently for 3.5 years before moving in with you, correct? Correct. And when she moved in, did you offer to let her stay for free? Out of love and family obligation? Tanya shifts in her seat. We discussed rent. Yes or no, Mrs. Porter? Did you offer to let her live with you rent-free? No. You charged her $2,200 a month from day one, correct? Yes. That's $26,400 per year for a single bedroom on the first floor. Does that seem like taking someone in out of compassion? It's a nice house, in a good neighborhood. A house your mother owned, Richard interrupts. Mrs. Porter, when did you discover your mother owned 1247 Oakwood Drive? Her face goes white. When it was listed for sale. Are you certain? Yes. Richard approaches the bench with a document. Your Honor, I'd like you to submit Defense Exhibit A, computer access logs from Caldwell and Associates, where Mrs. Porter works. Judge Thibodeau examines it. Go ahead, Mr. Beaumont. Richard turns to Tanya. Mrs. Porter, on November 28, 2023, you accessed the property records for 1247 Oakwood Drive through your company's database, correct? I don't remember. The logs show your username, STP447. Accessed the file at 2:34 p.m. The file contained the deed information showing Oakwood Properties, LLC as owner, and the LLC registration showing Grace Williams as sole member. You saw this information 2 years ago, didn't you? Silence. Mrs. Porter, you're under oath. Yes, she whispers. I saw it. A murmur runs through the courtroom. And after you discovered your mother owned the house, what did you do? I was in shock. Let me refresh your memory. In December 2023, you increased your mother's rent from $1,800 to $2,000. In March 2024, you increased her utility share from $280 to $350. In July 2024, you increased it again to $400. And in November 2025, you demanded she pay $3,250 per month or leave. Is that accurate? Tanya can't speak. Mrs. Porter? Yes, she says finally. So you didn't confront your mother about owning the house. You didn't discuss it with family. Instead, you systematically increased her costs while knowing she owned the property. Why? I don't know. Richard pulls out another document. Your Honor, Defense Exhibit B, a spreadsheet recovered from Mrs. Porter's laptop titled Inheritance Planning Confidential. He projects it on the screen. The courtroom gasps. The spreadsheet shows estimated time until Grace's death, 5 to 7 years. Projected inheritance value, $462,500. Strategy: extract maximum rent until inheritance occurs. Mrs. Porter, you created this spreadsheet on December 3, 2023, 5 days after discovering your mother owned the house. You weren't planning to confront her. You were planning to exploit her. Weren't you? Tanya is crying now. Real tears. I was angry. You were calculating. And now, because your plan failed, because your mother sold the house before you could inherit it, you're suing her for $1.5 million, correct? She lied to us for 20 years. She protected her assets. There's a difference. No further questions. Richard returns to our table. Tanya remains on the stand, sobbing. Judge Thibodeau calls a 10-minute recess. When we return, Richard calls me to the stand. I testify calmly, clearly. I explain the lottery win, the decision to stay silent, the investment strategy, the purchase of the house. Then Richard asks, Mrs. Williams, why did you move in with your daughter in 2020? She suggested it, I say. She said I was getting older, living alone was risky. I hoped it would bring us closer. Did it? No. From the first day I was treated as a tenant, not a mother. A source of income, not a family member. Can you give examples? I describe the oatmeal, the restricted diet that never existed, the inflated utility bills, the constant reminders that I should be grateful, the ultimatum. Mrs. Williams, you testified that you have recordings of conversations between your daughter and son-in-law. May we hear them? Yes. Richard plays them. 73 audio files edited down to the most damning excerpts. The old woman doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together. We should be getting premium rent for that room. When she croaks, we split the inheritance 50-50 with Derek. She's lucky we take care of her. Maximize revenue before she dies. The courtroom is silent. Even the reporters have stopped typing. Judge Thibodeau's face is stone. Mrs. Williams, she says gently, why did you record these conversations? Because I knew no one would believe me otherwise, Your Honor. An old woman claiming her daughter exploited her? Without proof, I'm just a bitter mother. With proof, I'm a victim of elder abuse. Judge Thibodeau doesn't deliberate long. After closing arguments, she returns to the bench in less than 20 minutes. I've presided over this court for 18 years, she begins. I've seen many cases, many types of human cruelty, but this case troubles me deeply. She looks at Tanya. Mrs. Porter, your mother had every legal right to manage her assets as she saw fit. No law requires a parent to disclose their financial status to adult children. Your claims of fraudulent misrepresentation, emotional distress, and breach of fiduciary duty are without merit. However, she continues, the evidence presented shows that you knowingly exploited your mother financially. You discovered she owned the property in November 2023. Instead of addressing it honestly, you increased her costs and created a plan to extract maximum revenue until her death. This constitutes elder financial exploitation under Louisiana Revised Statute 14403.3. Tanya's face crumbles. Your lawsuit is dismissed in its entirety. Furthermore, you are ordered to pay Mrs. Williams' legal fees in the amount of $47,350. I am also referring this matter to the Louisiana Attorney General's Office for investigation of potential criminal charges. Mrs. Porter, you are fortunate I am not holding you in contempt. You are fortunate your mother is more gracious than you deserve. You came into this court seeking $1.5 million from a woman you exploited for years. That takes a level of audacity I rarely see. Judge Thibodeau turns to me. Mrs. Williams, I commend your courage in bringing the truth to light. Your case has already sparked important conversations about elder abuse in our community. I hope it leads to stronger protections for vulnerable seniors. She bangs her gavel. Case dismissed. We're adjourned. The courtroom erupts. Reporters rush out to file stories. Jasmine runs to me, hugging me tight. Derek approaches cautiously. Mom, I'm sorry. For everything. I look at my son, 52 years old, tears on his face. Actions, Derek, I say quietly. Show me through actions, not words. I will, I promise. Tanya leaves with Blackwell, her head down, photographers following. Outside the courthouse, reporters surround me. Mrs. Williams, how do you feel? Vindicated, I say simply. What message do you have for other elders facing financial abuse? Document everything. Trust your instincts. And remember, you deserve respect, not just because you're someone's parent, but because you're a human being. Will you reconcile with your daughter? That's up to her. I've offered truth and justice. What she does with that is her choice. 6 months later, I wake up at 6:30 a.m., sleeping in by my old standards, in my bedroom at 892 Bellwood Lane. Sunlight streams through the windows. Birds sing in the camellia bushes outside. I make coffee, with real cream and real sugar. I sit on my sunroom porch with a book and watch the morning. At 8 a.m., Jasmine arrives for our weekly breakfast. She graduated from Southeastern in May with honors, accepted to Columbia Journalism School starting in September, fully funded by the trust I set up for her. Her article won the Louisiana Press Association's Investigative Reporting Award. She's been offered jobs at 3 major newspapers. She's 21 years old and unstoppable. Morning, Grandma, she says, kissing my cheek. Morning, baby. Coffee? Always. We sit together in the sunroom, drinking coffee, eating fresh beignets from the bakery down the street. Have you heard from Mom? She asks carefully. No. You? She texts sometimes. Short messages. How are you? Miss you. Never apologizes, never really says anything. After the trial, Tanya lost her job at Caldwell & Associates. The elder abuse investigation resulted in probation, no jail time, but a permanent record. She and Brian downsized to a small apartment in Mandeville. Brian blames her for everything. Their marriage is hanging by a thread. Derek, on the other hand, has surprised me. He comes to Sunday dinner once a month. We talk, real conversations, not just requests for money. He divorced Patricia in March after realizing she was the one pushing him to exploit me. He's rebuilding his business, slowly, honestly, without asking me for anything. Last month he said, "Mom, I know I can't undo the past, but I want you to know, I see you now, really see you, and I'm sorry it took so long. It's a start. As for me, I volunteer at Slidell Medical Center 3 days a week, mentoring young nurses. I've donated $500,000 to the Louisiana Elder Abuse Prevention Coalition. I've spoken at state legislative hearings about the need for stronger protections. And I live. I garden. I read. I take walks. I have coffee with neighbors. I go to church on Sundays. I video call with Jasmine when she's at Columbia. I'm not lonely. I'm not bitter. I'm free." Last week, I got a letter. Handwritten, no return address. "Mom, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if I deserve for you to read this. I've been in therapy for 6 months, working through a lot. My therapist says I need to take accountability. What I did to you was wrong. Not just wrong, cruel. I saw you as a burden instead of a blessing. I saw you as money instead of as my mother. I knew you owned the house. I knew you had money. And instead of being happy for you, I resented you. I thought, she has all this and I'm struggling. So I took from you. I justified it. I told myself you owed me. I was wrong. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even know if I deserve the chance to ask. But I want you to know, I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. I love you, Mom. I always have. I just forgot how to show it. Tanya, I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'll respond. Maybe not. Forgiveness isn't something you give because someone asks. It's something you give when you're ready. I'm not ready yet. But I'm not bitter either. I'm just at peace. It's Sunday evening. I'm sitting on my porch with a glass of sweet tea, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. My phone buzzes. Text from Jasmine. "Love you, Grandma. Proud of you. Always." I smile and type back. "Love you too, baby. More than you know." The wind rustles through the camellias. Somewhere in the distance I hear children laughing. I think about Robert, about the lottery ticket we bought 20 years ago, about the decision we made to stay silent. "We did the right thing, didn't we, Robert?" I say aloud. The wind picks up, warm and gentle, like an answer. I close my eyes and breathe. For the first time in 20 years, I feel completely, absolutely free. I learned something at 68 years old that I wish I'd known sooner. You teach people how to treat you. For years, I accepted less than I deserved because I thought that's what mothers do. Sacrifice, endure, give endlessly. But there's a difference between love and self-erasure. There's a difference between generosity and exploitation. And there's a difference between family obligation and letting yourself be destroyed. The greatest victory wasn't the money or the house or even the courtroom win. It was waking up one morning and realizing, I matter. Not because of what I can give, not because of what I can do for others, but because I'm Grace Marie Williams. And I deserve respect. I deserve peace. I deserve to live my last years on my terms. And now, finally, I do. I open my eyes and look at the sunset one more time. Then I stand up, walk inside my home, and close the door. On my life, on my terms, free at last.